Well, we already discussed the absolutely off-the-rails bonkers hearing late last night. At least part of it we discussed. The Marjorie Taylor Greene related moments, the insults, it was all crazy. Well, here I want to show you Lauren Boebert's presence and then some other things as well. And it was interesting because of the explosion of insults between Marjorie Taylor Greene and others at this hearing. The Boebert confusion was overshadowed a little bit, and that's what I want to get to here. Before playing the first clip, the context is that Republicans organized this hearing to decide on holding Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for not handing over this audio recording of Biden's interview with Robert Hur during the classified documents investigation. The transcript was already released. The investigation has long been concluded. They just want to get this audio recording to see if they can find some moment of Biden slipping up or stuttering so they can make fun of him and hurt him politically. And so now, because AG Merrick Garland won't turn it over, they're trying to hold him in contempt of Congress. The reason they scheduled this so late in the night is because during the day, too many of the members had gone to New York to defend Trump and be there at his trial in this embarrassing stunt. So here we are. And before showing you the confused moments, here's a hot mic moment where you can hear Lauren Boebert saying this.
That's delivered to my office. I'm titling it Boebert Off Broadway.
Boebert Off Broadway.
Mr. Chairman, on...
So we don't know what the context is, but Boebert said, I'm titling it Boebert Off Broadway, which, given her history, her track record with Broadway and what she likes to do at Broadway, raises some red flags. Then here's the first moment where she says that Trump was tested for cognitive dissonance.
President Trump, when he was in office, he underwent testing for his cognitive dissonance, for his ability to function as president of the United States.
You could tell she's confused. She goes, cognitive dissonance. That's not the word I'm looking for, and then moves on. Let's watch it.
President Trump, when he was in office, he underwent testing for his cognitive dissonance, for his ability to function as...
What is she trying to say? Surely not cognitive dissonance, unless she just thinks of the word cognitive and knows there's a phrase out there that's cognitive dissonance, but doesn't know what it means. Very interesting. Because he wasn't tested for his cognitive dissonance. He's constantly experiencing cognitive dissonance. His followers are constantly experiencing that. But I don't think you get tested for that necessarily. And then cognitive acuity. What is she... What? For his cognitive skills? Goodness gracious. Then here, while criticizing Biden for not being able to speak, she, after already struggling with the English language to explain that point about the cognitive dissonance test, she then has trouble criticizing Biden here.
And unfortunately, I haven't seen Joe Biden even read a teleprompter properly. And
Right. So y'all know I am very uncritical of verbal mishaps, because as someone who used to live stream a lot and now has been on camera for so many hours, there's just too many verbal mishaps that I understand. You speak for a long period of time, it's late at night, you have a little mistake, that's fine. When you're criticizing Biden for it, bad time.
And unfortunately, I haven't seen Joe Biden even read a teleprompter properly.
Teleprompter properly. And if only Biden had the cognitive dissonance skills of Donald Trump, then maybe he could read his teleprompter properly. Yeesh. This was a hearing and a half. Go watch my other segment, by the way. I'll link it later at the end of the segment for you to watch right after this one, because it is just crazy. And here, Lauren Boebert apologizes for the embarrassment of this hearing, which really she should be apologizing for the embarrassment of the woman in the mirror.
I just want to apologize to the American people. I don't think that this is the best use of our time when we are squabbling. It's one thing to have fun and laugh as members of Congress and try to find humor or some sort of lightheartedness in what we are doing. But when things get as heated as they have, it's unfortunately an embarrassment on our body as a whole. And so I just want to personally apologize to the American people.
You know what's interesting? I saw that she voted to force Marjorie Taylor Greene to stop speaking. She voted in line with the Democrats when they tried to vote to get MTG to be forced to stop talking at this hearing because she was interrupting everybody. And Lauren Boebert did it too. So to her credit, that was a correct statement, as much as I mocked her for it. And then here it gets weird. She says that Trump is pretty when he sleeps. Lauren.
So every so often, Mr. Garcia, maybe you could just lift up that picture of our President Trump sleeping. As you say, I think he's praying. But if he is sleeping, you know, he certainly looks pretty while he sleeps. Maybe it's an endearing moment of prayer, though. I know when I fall asleep on airplanes, you know, my mouth kind of drops open. And, you know, his mouth is kind of tight-lipped. So maybe it's just a somber moment of
I mean, he's sleeping. It's been reported by multiple press outlets.
I was in the courtroom today,
sleeping.
and I do. I could see why someone would fall asleep, just like George Conway fell asleep today.
Yeah. So, what is happening? This is so culty. I thought the dear leader was praying for all those hours while he was sleeping in court. Whenever he was like, that was prayer. Because Trump is known to pray a lot. He prays for himself. He prays for that handsome guy in his mirror. He prays for his hair. He prays for the election to go the way he wants it to. He prays for harm on his enemies. He prays a lot. So he could have been praying, okay, while he was snoring. You never know. But if he wasn't praying, he was pretty, so who cares? What a day for Lauren Boebert. Now, here is Jamie Raskin nicely summing up this hearing.
I now recognize the ranking member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, in this special nighttime episode, we resume the madcap comedy mystery series called Comer's High Crimes and Misadventures, the hilarious quest to impeach a president who has done nothing wrong, an avowedly low-budget but multi-million-dollar taxpayer-funded production which most Americans assumed had ended 2 months ago and had completely forgotten about.
I now recognize the ranking member.
Yeah, and that's exactly correct. They just keep going with this ridiculous quest to hurt President Joe Biden politically and to accuse him of all sorts of things. Now, this moment's hilarious. Congressman Jared Moskowitz always knows how to get under James Comer's skin. And here he does a dramatic reading of a James Comer fundraising email.
Chair recognizes Mr. Moskowitz.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, so welcome to Oversight After Dark. If you love James Comer at 11 o'clock in the morning, you're really going to love him at 8:30 p.m. So, members, the hearing was moved today. We don't have to ask the question. The hearing was moved today so that members could go to New York and attend the Trump hearing. But how's he doing? He's complained that he's chilly in the courtroom. Is it chilly? Is it chilly?
Will the gentleman yield?
No, I'll assume it's
He's
chilly.
doing very good.
Okay, good. So, you know, it was mentioned by the ranking member about really what we're doing here. You don't have to listen to my words. I would like to do a spirited reading of the campaign email sent out by the chairman. And it's on lovely stationery. In fact, it says, from the desk of the oversight chairman. I'm not sure you can do that, but I'm not an ethics expert. It says, friend. President Biden is exerting executive privilege in a last-ditch attempt to stop the disastrous audio recording of his interview with special counsel from being released. And it's highlighted in yellow. Want to make sure people saw that. Just a few months ago, the White House bragged that Joe Biden had nothing to hide and would not exert executive privilege during special counsel Hur's investigation. They even said he had nothing to hide. That's in italics. Now Biden and his advisors are terrified that I, James Comer, will release the recordings, forcing the media and the Democrats to answer for the dismal decline of Biden's mental state. He even had attorney Merrick Garland write a letter saying that—
And then, of course, he gets all the way to, and James Comer's asking for money. And that's what this is about. Stunt after stunt to raise money, not actually to do anything. Now, I'll say again, because this is a separate segment, for those of you who are just watching this one, that if Republicans insist, while they're in the majority, on making Congress, the House of Representatives specifically, into a joke, then Democrats have the obligation to make Republicans into a joke. And that's what this is. Because I've heard people on the left say, Democrats, see, they're now part of the problem by doing these sorts of silly stunts and hearings. No. They can't control that Republicans keep scheduling these nonsense hearings. The way that you get attention on the absurdity is stuff like that. And so it should be encouraged until Democrats get the majority for them to, again, make jokes on those, make jokes of those who are making jokes of the House of Representatives, if that makes sense. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments. I've been referencing my other segment about the Marjorie Taylor Greene related moments that you can watch by clicking there.